Hi, it's Kay. Welcome to the build guide for Kay's Nickel Summoner for the Spectres and Spiders build. Spectres and Spiders is a fast mapping endgame build that combines aggressive spiders with strong boss killing spectres. You can also use Syndicate operatives for even faster map clearing. After the showcase, I will go over the key mechanics of the build, how to play the build, the spectres, the passives, Ascendancy and Pantheon, and the gear including gems and links for melee spectres as well as Syndicate operatives.
Welcome! Time has no meaning here. Your pain will be the end of the cycle of cycles. And I'm ready to knock.
The Spectres and Spiders build uses the following mechanics. Arakalis Fang will summon spiders that have high movement speed and are extremely aggressive. They hit with physical and chaos damage and will block poison. Speaker's Wreath is used to block your spectres and spiders from killing monsters with hits because they don't have fire damage and cannot ignite. This means all monsters can only die from the spider's poison. In PoE, when a monster dies from your spider's poison, it will count as a player kill instead. And this will allow you to benefit from any on-kill effects such as life and ES recovery from cluster jewels in Flask, and even respawning spiders. The build uses Blade Vortex with a trigger craft and added fire or lightning damage. This will apply EE on any nearby monsters without needing to stop moving. Lastly, a Watcher's Eye is used to get phasing without needing a Quartz Flask. To spawn spiders, let your spectres hit the nearest pack of monsters. They will reduce the monster's life to 0, but they won't be able to kill them because of Speaker's Wreath. Then just stand close to the monsters and kill them. If you use Syndicate operatives, they can proc poison and spawn the spiders themselves. The poison kill mechanic will allow you to sustain the spider respawn. But it's important to run with the spiders because the self-sustain only works when your necro is nearby some corpses. If the spiders despawn completely, don't panic because the specters will keep you safe. The spiders will respawn soon. Specters in Spiders is designed for code conversion melee specters or code conversion syndicate operatives. The 3 recommended melee specters are Kravis, Snorrex, and Enhanced Fallen. All 3 of them use exactly the same gems, so you just need to choose the specter that you like the most. The Krabi is a super tanky harvest specter with special abilities that can boost DPS, but also completely block your entire view. The Snorrex is a redemption specter with a bit more damage, but a little less speed. It has no visual clutter. And the Enhanced Fallen is a slow-moving specter with the biggest single hit in the game. It also has no visual clutter. Lastly, you can also use Syndicate operatives. They won't hit as hard as the melee specters, but they can supercharge the clear speed. Please see my specter showcase for more details on the specters and how to get them. Here are the passive trees for the Specters and Spiders build. The build uses cluster jewels for life recovery, so you should have 1 or 2 sets. For each set, the large cluster jewel is cold damage with 8 passive points and 3 notables. You must have Cold-Blooded Killer and Vengeful Commander, and the third can be anything because it's not allocated. The 2 medium jewels are Aura Effect with Replenishing Presence and Vengeful Commander. And the 2 small jewels are Increased Life with Surging Vitality. I also recommend 1 small armor jewel with Enduring Composure to generate endurance charges. There are also severe jewel sockets that you can use for Ghastly Eye jewels. You must have Minion Leech, and I also recommend Minion Blind and Taunt. And if you use Syndicate operatives, you need added chaos damage. Lastly, you should have a Watcher's Eye with haste phasing. For the ascendancies, I recommend Commander of Darkness, Unnatural Strength, and Mistress of Sacrifice. For the Pantheon, I like to use Lunaris and Shakari. But all of them are useful, so change them if you need to. Overall, the Specters and Spiders build requires several specific items, and it also needs a lot of decks. To switch between melee Specters and Syndicate operatives, you will need to change the gloves, 1 ring, and several gems. The body armor should have the special mod +1 Spectre number. If possible, craft increase maximum life and mana. You can also use a Hunter's Exalted Orb to try to get increased offering effect. For melee Spectres, the gems are Raise Spectre, Minion Damage, Predator, Elemental Damage, Melee Physical Damage, and Multi-Strike. For Syndicate operatives, the gems are Raise Spectre, Minion Damage, Predator, Elemental Damage, Anomalous Vicious Projectiles, and Volley. Anomalous VP gives the operatives a 10% chance to poison with hits, which lets them proc life recovery and spider respawn. You will need a Ghastly Eye jewel with added chaos damage because the operatives are 100% code conversion. For the helmet, use Speaker's Wreath. The 3 linked gems are Hatred, Generosity, and Enlighten. The fourth gem is Val Haste, which is unlinked, so you can get phasing from the Watcher's Eye. Spectres and Spiders uses two weapons. One is Arakari's Fang, and the other is a Crafted Scepter. The gems in Arakari's Fang will support the spiders, and they are melee physical damage, melee splash, and minion speed. Use the scepter from the temple or craft one with an Essence of Fear. The scepter must have added fire or lightning to spells to apply EE with Blade Vortex. And you will need to craft trigger a socketed spell. The gems are Desecrate, Blade Vortex, and Burn Offering. The melee specters already have cold conversion, so use Grip of the Council for extra cold damage. The gems are Second Wind, Dash, Frost Bomb, and Convocation. Frost Bomb will apply an extra -25% cold resist debuff, but you must allocate a Bottle of Fire to convert it to fire damage for EE. For Syndicate Operatives, use Triad Grip with 4 green sockets for 100% cold conversion. The gems are Second Wind, Dash, Enhance, and Phase Run. You can set Phase Run to left mouse button with Always Attack without moving. For the boots, you need Elder Influence to get +1 Spectre Gem level. The gems are Carrion Golem, Elemental Army, Feeding Frenzy, and Anime Guardian. You can click on the link at the top right to see my Anime Guardian guide for the Aegis equipment and more gem combinations. For the rings, you need one with Curse on Hit, Frostbite. I recommend crafting Damage Taken recouped as mana to help with mobs that have no regen. Lastly, if you use Syndicate Operatives, you will need an Unset Ring to socket Convocation. You will need a Hunter Influence Amulet with +1 to all int gems. Anoint your amulet with Death Attunement using clear, crimson, and silver oils. For the belt, use a Stygian Vice to socket another Ghastly Eye Jewel. I recommend the following flasks. A Life Flask with Stone Chin for bleed removal. Rumi's Concoction for extra block. Quicksilver with Adrenaline for big speed boost. Cinder Swallow Urn for life and ES recovery. And a Jade Flask with Reflexes for extra evasion. If you want to spawn spiders in an endgame boss fight, you will need to use a Writhing Jar. But it's probably easier to just use the Pure Spectres build by swapping the helmet and dagger. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the Spectres and Spiders build guide. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, bye!